My name is Samuel Melendez. I'm going to be working on with Héctor Díaz-MARQUEZ, and we're going to be talking about the concept of alienation, which is a topic we've been talking about lately in the class. So let's get started, shall we? First of all, I'm going to start with basically what the definition of alienation is. And in simple terms, alienation is the sensation and experience of feeling isolated and rejected from a group or a part of society. As a human being, we should be part of and share social interaction with, which means that if you are in some part of society and you are being rejected, and yeah, that's basically the feeling of alienation. Since we are humans, are all social beings, the concept of alienation is not very common to us. So it tends to be related to sadness, depression, and mental problems. It's all the things that can lead to the purpose of alienation. The concept of alienation is sadly something that we are very known of because the world has a lot of unfair practices and bad circumstances, and it's important for us as a society to sympathize with the feeling and bring change, because to change the fact that some people are being alienated because of their race, gender, age, social status, and in some cases, physical and mental health. Second, we're going to be talking about Miss Brill by Catherine Mansfield, a few examples of what it means to go in alienation and what this story goes about in that factor. First of all, I'm going to be talking about how Miss Brill has like a fur, as you can see with these samples. We go right to the analysis now. Miss First Code as an important element of the story that represents and adds to it. Miss Brill is seen talking to her code as if the code talked to her back. So basically, like an idea that her codes stalking it gives us the idea that she's kind of crazy. And if we analyze the story, we can see that the code symbolizes basically herself and her loneliness that she keeps store all the time since she has the fur inside a box, and then she decides to take it out for to go experience the world because she's wanting what she wants is to be out of that alienation. So the second one, we go the idea of Miss Brill having a special seat, which is something that we include in the examples. Basically says that she goes regularly, it's exactly every Sunday she goes there, and what she does mostly is she passes her time listening to other people as if it was in their lives, which basically just represents the loneliness that she has because she basically doesn't have anyone to communicate, doesn't have any social life in an area because she's an old lady that doesn't really talk to many people. And at some point, she starts seeing people as a theater. She basically sees people as something interesting or boring passing around there. That's what she later realizes, which is basically the third example, as we go to the fact that she starts basically talking about. Seeing the whole experience of being in the park as being in a play, and she has a part of it, which is a way that she views the world, that the whole everything, everyone has a play to part, everyone has a part to play, and she also is part of that play. But then as we go to the end, we can see that first of all, a few old people start. Most old people are the ones that are in the area. Old couple are the ones that sits next to them. But then they left, and a young couple steps in. So that's basically a representation of the new generation going in, and basically changing her idea of what really is that she's seeing. She sees the world as a play, a beauty, a story, but then she goes and sees reality that the world is cruel, that she's alone, and people don't really, consider her. And that's when she goes back to her house and encapsulates herself because she feels that she doesn't need to go out anymore. And when the story says that basically that when she puts her cut, her fur back into the box and she hears it starts crying. That's a representation of her saying basically that she doesn't have any, that she basically doesn't have a life anymore. And now we're gonna go with Hector.
So I'm gonna talk about the alienation in the example of the poems that we were reading in the class lately. And the poem that I choose, it was "I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud" of Wordsworth. And I present some of the examples of the strophe of the poem that have caught me the attention of what I think that alienation is in that poem. So let's go to the analysis. For the example one, I believe, and I my analysis was Wordsworth refers to his loneliness at the time. He does it, he does not see it as something negative at any time, something that is contradictory today, because someone that is lonely, it's someone like is depressive or something like that. That is the society of today sounds like that, and that was my thinking about that. And the second one, just a comparison of how society as a whole has a great effect on the thinking and decision making of the people themselves. That's one of the other thinking that Wordsworth shows on his poem. The number three is declaring in this way how he will be seen by society for having commented on that, and seeing how happy he was, even knowing that the consequences that this could cause him. I think this because in that part of the poem he say that gays, something like that, and I believe that he refers to him as being gay and how the society have rejected him for just being gay. That is something that the society of today have been shown. And the last one, about how loneliness can become ideal when a society rejects you or you just don't feel like you fit in, making alienation look like something not necessarily negative. Now we go to the example of the true life. It could be an example when you do not support an ideology that society proposed. Once you show yourself against this, they brand you as someone ignorant. They don't recognize that there are different talks on the same subject. And the other one is another example could be racist. Being racist is one of the main ones because they marginalize you for being of another race, and they try to make you feel different from society or or some social role, also by social class, just for not being of their social class. And that's some of the examples that we present in here, and I think that's all.
Bye.
Thank you.